Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai, Vishveshvari Mata ki jai. In our last discourse, we heard about what happened with Narayana when the beautiful damsels had wanted to marry him and stay with him, and how he got out of it by saying he would marry them in another incarnation in the Dwapara Yuga when he would come as Sri Krishna. So that brought up many questions that King Janamejaya had about the Krishna incarnation. And we'll begin that story on chapter 18. Vedavyasa said, "O king, here is in detail the complete life and the deeds in the incarnation of Sri Krishna, and also the various wonderful achievements by the goddess of this universe. Once on a time, Mother Earth was very much overburdened by the load of wicked kings, and she was therefore very much afraid. She then assumed the appearance of a cow and went to Devaloka crying and very much dejected. Indra, the lord of the Devas, asked her, 'Oh, Bhuvaneshwari, what is the cause of your fear now? Who has troubled you? What afflictions are you merged in? Please tell me all of these.' On hearing Indra's words, Mother Earth exclaimed, 'O respect giver, when you have asked me, I am explaining to you the cause of all my afflictions and sorrows. At present, I am overburdened with too much of a load. Now is reigning on the earth Jarasandha, the king of Magadha, a very vicious person. Also, the lord of the Chedis, the uncontrollable Kasiraja Rukmi, the powerful Kasma, the strong Naraka, the wicked Kasi, Vatsaku, Denuka, and these are all now in royal positions on the earth. O Lord of the Devas, these kings are all devoid of the least trace of virtue. They're quarrelsome against each other, infatuated with vanity, and addicted to vicious deeds. These have become kings as if they were personified yamas, the lords of death, and are constantly troubling me. I am now unable to carry their loads. Where shall I go now? This great thought is constantly ailing me.' What to tell? The Bhagavan in his boar incarnation, the Bhagavan Vishnu in his boar incarnation is the cause of all these afflictions, O Indra. These present troubles I am fallen into only through him. For when the cruel Datta Hiranyasa, the son of Kasapa, stole me away and drowned me in the great ocean, then it was Vishnu in his boar incarnation that killed him and rescued me from the ocean, and then kept me in this in my stable position. Had he not then lifted me up, I would have rested safe in the depths of the ocean. O Lord of the Devas, now I'm quite unable to bear the load of these vicious persons. The vicious 28 Kali is coming very quickly in front of us. Thinking of Kali's influence, it seems to me that I will be very troubled then and will have to go down to the ocean again. Therefore, O Lord of the Devas, I am bowing down before your feet. Kindly relieve me of my burden and save me from these endless troubles.' Indra said, 'O Mother Earth, I cannot do anything for you. You better go and take refuge of Lord Rama. I'm also going to him. He will remove all your troubles.' Hearing this, Indra's words, the Mother Earth hurriedly went to the realm of Brahma, and Indra and all the other devas followed her, and all reached the Brahmaloka. The grandfather Brahma saw the earth coming to him, and through the power of meditation, found out the cause of her coming and said, 'O auspicious one, Mother Earth, why are you crying? What troubles have you now? What wicked person has given you troubles?' The earth said, O Lord of the earth, the vicious Kali is coming before. Under his influence, the subjects will be horribly vicious. Therefore, I am very much afraid of this Kali Yuga. In the beginning of this Kali Yuga, the ancient enemies, the demons, have now incarnated on this earth as kings. They will be extremely wicked, quarreling against each other, and will be clever in stealing others' things. There is no doubt in this. O grandfather, now kill these vicious kings and relieve my burden. O Lord, I am very much troubled by the armies of these kings. Brahma said, O goddess, I too am unable, like Indra, to remove your load. Let us go to Vishnu, the holder of the sacred disk. He will remove your burden. I thought of this well before and settled what to do. Thus saying, the four-faced Brahma, the author of the Vedas, rode on his vehicle, taking in front of him the goddess Earth, and the Devas went to Vishnu and began to praise Vishnu, the Deva of Devas, with the words of the Vedas, with full devotion. Brahma said, Thou hast 1,000 heads, 1,000 faces, 1,000 feet. Thou art the Purusha of the Vedas. Thou art the Deva of the Devas, and thou art eternal. O omnipresent, thou art the past, present, and future, O Lord of Lakshmi. Thou hast awarded immortality unto us. Thou art the creator of the universe, the preserver and the destroyer. Thou art one and the only goal, and thou art the God. Everybody knows that all these glories belong to thee. When Brahma praised Vishnu thus, Vishnu was highly pleased and appeared before Brahma and the other devas. Vishnu asked them about their welfare and inquired in detail into the cause of their arrival there. Brahma then bowed down to him, and remembering the cause of the sorrows of the goddess Mother Earth, said, O Lord, thou art now to relieve the burden of Mother Earth. O thou ocean of mercy, when the end of the Dwapara Yuga will come, thou art to incarnate into the world and kill the wicked kings, and thus to relieve the burden of Mother Earth. Vishnu said, I am not independent in these matters. Why I? Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Agni, Yami, the sun, Varuna, and other devas, nobody is independent. This whole universe, moving and unmoving, is existing under the control of Yoga Mahamaya. And from Brahma up to the clot of grass, all are strung into the thread of her three qualities. O one of good vows, whatever that Yoga Maya, the supreme goddess, who is all will, whose mouth is inward, who does good at all times, what she wills, she does that at any time. You should all know that we are entirely under her control. You better think that were I independent, what for would I have stayed in the great ocean, incarnating as a fish and tortoise bodies? O Brahman, what name or pleasure is there in enjoyment in the body of animals? What holy merit or other reward may I expect from being born in the wombs of animals? What is the reason that I assume the body of a boar, or of a man lion, or a dwarf? Why, I was born as the son of Jamadagni. Especially, why did I, being born of that high-souled Brahmana Jamadagni, and being the best of the Brahmins, do the most atrocious acts like that of the heartless brute and fill up the lakes with their blood? Alas, I killed the Ksatras mercilessly, to say nothing more than that I killed the sons that were still in their wombs. Were I independent, what for would I have done these horrible and cruel deeds, O Lord of the Devas? See again. In my Rama incarnation, I roamed on foot, helpless and without any provisions in the fearful Dandaka forest, unfrequented by anybody, wearing clotted hair, bark, rags, like a man who feels no shame, and behaved like a hunter and killed many animals. Being under the delusion of Mahamaya, I could not make out the real nature of that golden deer. Consequently, leaving Sita in the thatched cottage, I went out pursuing the deer. And though repeatedly warned by me not to leave the place, my brother Lakshmana was moved by the qualities of Prakriti and forsook Sita and went out in search of me. Then the hypocrite Ravana, the king of the demons, under the garb of a beggar, stole away by force that beautiful daughter of Janaka, who had become very lean on account of sorrows. I was very much distressed owing to the separation of my dear wife, and roamed about weeping sorely in the forest, and formed friendship with Sugriva under the influence of the circumstances. It was an act of gross injustice on my part to kill Bali, the king of the monkeys. I freed him from his curse, actually, and afterwards, aided by the monkeys, I had to go to Lanka. When my younger brother Lakshmana and myself were both enchained under the chains of the serpent Nagapasas and were senseless, the monkeys all were astonished. Then Garuda came and freed us, the two brothers, from the grips of this serpent Nagapasas. I considered then what adverse, inauspicious circumstances fate and Mahamaya sometimes ordains on our lots. I lost my kingdom, lived in the forest, my father died, my wife was stolen, and I had to suffer extreme troubles in very deadly battles. I could not know what worse fate still awaited for us. O Devas, what more calamity can you expect to befall on any person than that I was from the very first deprived of my kingdoms and wealth, and had to go to the forest with the Princess Sita, dwelling in and taking shelter in the dense forest. At the time of my going to the forest, my father did not give a single penny. Penniless and helpless, I had to go out of Ayodhya on foot. I was compelled to leave my Ksatra dharma and take up the avocation of a hunter, and thus to spend 14 years in the forest. After that, under the benign influence of fate and Mahamaya, I was able to kill the demon Ravana and get back the victory in the battle, and was able to bring back my dear Sita to Ayodhya. There I succeeded in becoming the ruler of the kingdom of Kosala with his subjects, and got the full kingdom and enjoyed for a few years the pleasures of the world. The stealing away of Sita took place at the first outset. Next I got my kingdom. Then the subjects began to circulate the bad name regarding Sita, and I, being afraid of that, deported her into exile in the forest. At that time I had to suffer again extreme pain and agony due to the separation from my wife. Then the daughter of the goddess of earth penetrated into earth and got down to the Patala. O Devas, when I had to depend on fate and to suffer so many troubles incessantly, where else can you dare to say that an independent man exists? Afterwards, under the influence of time, I had to go to heaven with my brothers. Let all this point of what it may, the intelligent, learned person can say what an amount of mishaps took place to one who is dependent. O one born from the lotus, you hear my word. I am in every way dependent on Mahamaya, the Divine Mother. Why I, Shiva, and you, and all these devas are fully dependent on Mother. Here ends the 18th chapter of the 4th book of the Mahapurana Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses of Maharishi Veda Vyasa on the Devi's Mother Earth going to the heavens to ask for help. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai, Mother Saraswati Mata ki